How about that? Okay. Welcome back to the Jeremy Jones podcast. Now, if you've tuned in today expecting to learn all about the flock cameras, much like Matt Damon, the flock cameras got bumped. So, what we have here is we had some breaking news that might otherwise necessitate a breaking news episode. But since I was about to record an episode anyway, and since I'm very well versed on this topic, I decided to go ahead and just make this the podcast of the day. What we have is a ethics complaint filed against our state representative, Mitchell Horner. Mitchell Horner is a state representative that covers most of Catoosa County. I don't believe he covers any other counties. I think his district is just all of Catoosa, except for a tiny part that Representative Tarvin represents. But I got a package delivered secretly to my house, much like what Mitchell Horner did when he was first representative, sending out his Paul Revere run and delivering budgets to the commissioners of the county. However, Mitchell Horner, of course, signed his name to it, and everybody knew who it was from. He was not hiding. He was just delivering. But I have an idea of who brought it to me, but they wanted to remain anonymous, so anonymous it is. But what it is, it's a copy of a complaint that was filed against Representative Horner with the Georgia Ethics Commission, I believe. It is a bunch of pages, and there's a lot to unpack here. I got it, like I said, on Friday or Saturday. I looked through it. It looked official to me. I couldn't verify with the Ethics Commission yet that it was real, that it had been filed. For all I knew, this was something that somebody had planned on filing. So I certainly didn't talk about it on Facebook or anywhere else. I'm not too keen on sharing information that I don't know is valid or not. The one thing I was able to verify, part of the complaint included exhibits that were his campaign reports that he submitted to the as required by law, and I did check those online, and those are accurate. Doesn't mean the complaint was accurate. So anyway, I didn't say anything about it, and then last night our local what would be called at one time cable access show, many people just call it the Judy Show. They read it, and my guess is whoever gave this to me gave it to them as well and talked about it. So I don't know if that person verified from where it came or verified with the commission that it was true or not, but they talked about it, which led other people on Facebook to talk about it, which then led Representative Horner to say that he does know about it and that it's a bunch of nothing and he's going to fix it. So he admitted that it was true and that it does exist, so as far as I'm concerned, it's now free game to talk about. Now, before we get started, let me just say one thing. When I first saw this, when I looked at it in detail, and even after what I've seen today, I do not believe for a second Representative Horner has done anything nefarious. I don't believe he has stolen any money, and I don't believe completely that he's trying to hide money. I do think he's trying to hide a little bit of money, but not in a nefarious way, just kind of the same way that most politicians try to hide a little bit of money, especially during a campaign. I do think that there are some bigger issues to look at inside of this, but I don't think that this goes to Representative Horner's honesty at all. I believe him to be an honest person. I believe he's made some mistakes. I know he has admitted to making some mistakes. When he first got elected, I had some complaints about him. I've admitted that he has grown as a representative, and I'm happy with his as a representative, with some exceptions, which is fine. Everybody's going to have disagreements on certain issues, and I certainly don't agree with all of his what he has done. Probably the biggest thing is the school board fiasco that he continues to stick his nose in for some reason. But and that's why I think this one's so interesting. So, with all that said, let's talk about it. So, on the Facebook group, there's plenty of them out there, but the one I'm talking about, many people know about it as the Creek on Facebook. And when this got posted on there today about a complaint being filed against Representative Horner, one of the people in the group who posts a lot, his first question was, well, who filed the complaint? As if that matters. I don't understand that. If his biggest political opponent filed it, or his best friend filed it, it doesn't change any of the facts. Now, if this was a complaint and it said something like, I saw Mitchell Horner going to the Super 8 with 3 hookers the other day, yeah, the source then does matter. If a political opponent says that, I'm going to put a lot less credibility into that than I would if his wife said it or something. But this is a binary complaint. It is true or it's not true. And the complaint that was filed, it's true. I mean, it is absolutely true. Representative Horner did not say it was true, but he said that it's not really what it seems, and he's correcting everything. And everything that was mentioned in the complaint is about mistakes. So he's all but admitted the complaint's true. Now, what's the intent of it? That's going to be what the debate is. And Representative Horner is going to say there was no nefarious intent whatsoever. Frankly, when I first saw it, I didn't believe there was any nefarious intent. I'll take Representative Horner at his word, though we will get in here shortly about some contradictions that have been said. But again, I don't think that those rise to the level of he's hiding money or he's lying to the public about where his how his campaign is run. So anyway, if your first instinct when you heard about this particular complaint, and again, not a complaint about it depends on what the person saw, but a binary complaint about this is what happened. If your first instinct is, well, who filed it? Just admit that you can't be unbiased. Just admit that you're going to stand by your person no matter what. And, I don't know if I was ever that way. I know that I certainly I do lean to the right, no question about that, and I do support Republican candidates. But even the candidates that I love and admire and support tooth and nail, I've always pointed out when I thought they did something wrong. To not do so means that you must think your candidate's a perfect person. Nobody's perfect. And if we cannot, talk about the people that we support with the same factual basis as we do the people we oppose, what's the point? I mean, our whole goal here is to make our society better. And if Representative Horner makes a mistake and I know it, I'll tell him about it. And if he says, no, yeah, I understand, Jones, you're wrong, though. If we have different opinions, we have different opinions. But I have told him something that I thought he did was wrong, and he thanked me for it. And as far as I know, he believes he learned from it. I've told him things I thought he did that was wrong, and he said, well, that's just the way I believe it, and that's the way it's going to be. So be it. So anyway, the people who say, well, who filed it, as if that has any relevance whatsoever, just know that I don't take anything seriously you say now. Not that I did to begin with. But anyway, let's get into the complaint. So what the complaint is about, it's about what he filed for his campaign disclosure reports. And there are some serious accusations in here. There are some that could be breaking of law. And frankly, most of them are just going to be mistakes that he made while he was filling out his campaign finance reports. And what I just said there is very, very important when he filled out his campaign finance reports. So the biggest thing, the one that I think does deserve the most attention, is what a lot of people don't know about politics is campaigns basically just send money back and forth to each other. This particular person who may not have any competition is going to send some money to his friend across the state who's into a heated battle. And then next time around, if the roles are reversed, then they send it back and forth. You look at any candidate's campaign disclosure, you're going to see contributions from other campaigns, and if that person's not in a heated campaign, contributions that person made to other campaigns, and Representative Horner is no different whatsoever. The problem is when a different campaign donated money to the Mitchell Horner campaign, that campaign must disclose, hey, we just sent $2,000 to Mitchell Horner. Fair enough. The problem is, they said we gave this money to Mitchell Horner, and then Mitchell Horner's reports don't have that money listed. It was nearly $14,000 worth of money that Mitchell Horner got that he did not disclose on his reports. Now, he made a statement today, and well, let me back up one more thing. When I was telling somebody else that I was going to do this, that person asked me, "Were you going to talk to Mitchell Horner and get his side of it?" And I said, "Absolutely not." And I said, I'm not going to for a couple reasons. Number one, as I said, I don't think he did anything wrong. I think there are some questions that need to be answered, and I know they will be answered in the future. If I thought he was doing something wrong and I was going to accuse him of breaking the law in a bad way, I am going to accuse him of breaking the law in a small way, but it's inconsequential. But if I thought he was breaking the law in the bad way, I would ask for a statement from him, and I would expect him to give none until the investigation is over. And that's the second reason I didn't call him for a comment. Is I do consider him a friend, and I do think he's doing a good job. And frankly, I'm a lawyer, and I know that he shouldn't say anything at this point in time. I mean, looking at it all, I do think it's pretty benign, and I don't think it's too dangerous to talk, but I wouldn't say anything if I were him. But I'm not him, and I've never won an election. He's won two, is about to win his third. He did say something on Facebook today. What it appears he's saying about the money that he received from other campaigns that he did not disclose on his own reports, it sounds like he's making the claim that they sent him the money on, I'm making up dates but this is for illustrative purposes, on May 28th, and then so they disclosed it in their May report, but then he didn't get it until June 3rd, so the report that's most recent, his May report, didn't have it on there, but his June report will have it on there. The problem with that is some of the dates of the people who donated money to him are nowhere near the deadline of a reporting cycle. So I don't think that's it. I think it's just a mistake. If Representative Horner or anybody was trying to skim money from their campaign and hide donations, they certainly wouldn't skim the money that came from another campaign or hide the donations from another campaign. Everybody knows that's going to be reported. That was just simply an error. Whether it's a combination of the timing or maybe he was delayed in reporting and it really did go over a deadline, that's certainly possible. Now, that's the glass half full, so to speak, angle of it. The glass half empty angle of it would be he was in a race and one that was serious enough in his mind. He won by a lot, but his race was serious enough that he had plenty of PAC money coming in, or other people sending out mailers on his behalf. That somebody thought it was a competitive race, and so in a competitive race like that, there are some candidates who might not want the people to know or their opponents to know where they're getting the money, especially if they're getting it from other campaigns. So maybe the delay in reporting was on purpose. Maybe it was a strategic choice. If so, it appears to be the wrong choice based on the timing of it. But if that was the choice, I'll chalk that up to a mistake, but not to criminal enterprise of him trying to hide money. Again, if somebody's going to try to hide campaign money, they're going to hide the cash money that they get. They're going to hide the money that Joe Smith from IBM donated to him and put that under the table or put it under somebody else's name or something like that. You're not going to mess with money that's going to be reported by another entity. So this $14,000, and again, I think that's the most serious part. In fact, they put that near the top. The Casey for a Better Georgia, Casey Carpenter candidate, reported a contribution of $3,500 to Mitchell Horner on April 10th, 2025. Casey Carpenter's reports disclose that. Mitchell for State House filed no corresponding entry for receipt of this contribution. Then another one for $3,300. Citizen for Rick Jaspers, $3,300 on April 3rd, not disclosed. Alan Powell campaign, $1,800 to Mitchell Horner, was disclosed on April 3rd. Mitchell did not report it. Jaslyn, I don't know. Ford for Georgia, $1,000 to Mitchell Horner. Mitchell Horner did not report it. Committee to elect Noel Williams, $1,000 was on that report. That one was on April 30th, so that was near a deadline. No entry from Mitchell Horner. Freilich Bozeman Political Action Committee reported a contribution of $500 to Mitchell Horner on April 30th. Again, the end of a month. Mitchell for State House, file no corresponding entry for that contribution. This person who went through and did all this totals up to $14,400. Some of the things that I just said, if you look at Mitchell's campaign report, he does have notations of donations from those people, but whoever filled out the report notes that these are in excess of what was reported on Mitchell's campaign, so they are separate entities. So again, on its face, that's a serious problem. But again, I can't believe that it's a nefarious thing, or that Representative Horner's trying to hide money. That's so easy to come out. I don't care how new you are. I just don't believe that that's going to be where it comes in. Then the next thing that we have is the potential misuse of campaign funds. And now this one, I don't know. Is this somebody just not paying attention to what they're doing? All the accusations that I'm about to say come from this complaint, and all the accusations in the complaint come directly from Mitchell Horner's campaign finance reports. These are not opinions. These are not looking at it from this angle, but it really should be looked at from that angle. There were expenses. There are lots of expenses for things that you and I wouldn't think candidates should be expensing for their campaign. Lots of McDonald's, Whataburger, other things. Folks, like it or not, those are legal. The way our campaign finance laws work, the candidates are allowed to use their campaign money to buy their own lunch every day. I don't agree with it. You got to eat anyway, especially on Horner's campaign disclosure. There's a bunch of fast food receipts. I didn't think anybody ate fast food as much as I did, except for I look like it. Horner doesn't look like he's been eating fast food, but his receipts certainly show that he does, and a lot of it. And this is a policy thing. Horner did not do anything wrong by getting Whataburger, McDonald's, wherever he got paid for by his campaign. You're allowed to do it, and if you don't like that, then contact your representative and get the law changed on that. Those aren't illegal. However, personal grooming like haircuts and dry cleaning, those are questionable. And apparently those are on this report as well. The amount of money those are, they're not a lot. But it's still on there. And it was still done. The next thing that's talked about in this campaign, in this complaint, allegation 3, filing inaccurate expenditure disclosure reports, incorrect payee address. And this happened a lot in these reports. For instance, I mentioned Whataburger. He has several expenses for Whataburger for his lunch. And by the way, I don't want anybody to go out there and say, well, he's probably taking out constituents or something, and that's why. No, these are $10. Okay, you taking two people to Whataburger for $10. But anyway. But he listed the address of Whataburger in Ringgold, Georgia. And anybody who's from this area knows we don't have one in Ringgold, Georgia. So is putting the incorrect address a major deal? The voters can decide that. I don't think it is. He disclosed that the money was spent. That's the purpose of these campaign finance reports, is to know where's the money coming from, where are our candidates, where are our elected officials getting their money, and then where is it going? Are they paying off people, or are they using it for legitimate expenses? So he paid with his campaign money Whataburger a bunch of money, not a bunch of money, but paid money, about $100 I think total. But he put Ringgold, Georgia instead of East Ridge, Tennessee. He also put the complete wrong address on it, so it's not just as simple as putting the wrong city. I mean, I looked up the addresses. He didn't put anything about it right on there. And it's the same thing for a lot of other things, and including some office expenses and some other things. The only thing that I see on here that's a problem, and again, when I tie this all up, you'll see where I'm going to go with it. Contributions received in excess of statutory limits. Citizens for Rick Jaspers filed 3 separate expenditures to Mitchell Horner, all designated primary 2026. $1,500 on January 10th, $500 January 10th, $3,300 on April 3rd. So the total primary contributions was $5,300, $2,000 over the $3,300 cap. So, and don't forget the April $3,300 contribution has not been reported by Mitchell. So, look at the numbers here, though. On January 10th, he got a total of $2,000 on two different payments. One for $1,500, one for $500. That's $2,000. Then on April 3rd, he got a $3,300 donation from Citizens for Rick Jaspers. And I know I'm saying that wrong, but I'm sorry. $3,300 is the max, and that's what he got on April 3rd. Now, did he not report it in the April 3rd disclosure because he wanted to wait to assign it to the general election? That would be the finagling with money that some candidates do that, it's probably in a gray area. You probably shouldn't do it. Is that what Mitchell's doing? I doubt it. But he didn't report it. Casey for a Better Georgia reported a single contribution of $3,500 to Mitchell Horner on April 10th, 2025, designated as primary 2026. Again, the limit's $3,300, so why is he accepting $3,500 in one payment from one entity? Is $200 a major scandal? Is that worth him losing supporters? That's up for the voters to decide. Frankly, at this point, not me. And then it says this final page here, attached documentation, and it basically just attaches all of his finance reports showing omissions, and then, of course, a copy of the finance reports of the other campaigns showing that they claimed that they gave Mitchell Horner money. Now, maybe those people never sent Mitchell Horner money, and they're lying on their campaign reports. Again, what Representative Horner said on Facebook today, it sounds to me that he is saying that it was a timing thing and that it's going to be corrected. So, what does all this mean? I don't know. Not a whole lot, except for one thing. Here's my issue with it, okay? Representative Horner has decided that it's his responsibility to make sure that the school board of Catoosa County has perfect books. And he's demanding audits despite there being no accusations or no accusations with any authority or any backing of incorrect spending or stealing money or incorrect accounting or anything. I mean, nobody's made that claim. There's a bunch of people complaining about the school board, about how much taxes they have to pay. But anyway, Mitchell Horner demanded and passed in a questionable way, but every representative does it, so it's not a bad thing. Well, I mean, I think it's a bad thing, but everybody does it. To pass basically a state law that Catoosa County has to be audited, and Catoosa County has to pay for that audit. If you're going to do that, I think your reports need to be accurate. I don't think that's a lot to ask of. And here's the next thing. Mitchell Horner's about to win his third term. And his wife is still listed as the treasurer of his campaign. There are people who do this for a living. This is what they do because these things are not easy to do. I mean, he says in his own Facebook post that there were mistakes made. It was some auto program or something. I mean, I forget exactly what he said. I guess we could look it up. Maybe I should be more prepared. But, I mean, for goodness gracious, Representative Horner, get somebody to do this for you. I mean, you got plenty of money according to your campaign finance, according to your reports. I mean, spend a couple $1,000s and have somebody make sure that these things don't happen. So instead, he's doing his own reports, which is causing these mistakes. And then today, a representative commented on one of Mitchell Horner's posts and said, "I'm the chair of the ethics committee of the ethics chair or commission or whatever, and Mitchell Horner would never do anything bad, and I wouldn't talk about an ongoing investigation." Yeah, well, first of all, that person's not the ethics. Here it is. Buddy Deloche. I serve as chairman of the ethics committee in the Georgia House of Representatives. I have never and will never comment on any ethics complaint. I do feel free to comment on campaign contribution reporting. We have made changes in recent years to the process and have acknowledged problems with the system during these changes. If you had errors during that time, correct them and move on. Okay, first of all, this is an ethics complaint. So let the ethics board handle it. Secondly, if there are problems with the system, all the more reason that Representative Horner should be letting somebody else handle this instead of himself. I mean, he's in a campaign that he believes is an important campaign. He had an opponent who was, going for him and gunning for him. He had people out there going against him. And at that same, well, not at the same time, but during that same period, he was also in Atlanta trying to get some major things done. And he's worried about these stupid reports. I just don't understand it. And so he makes these mistakes on this report, or his wife makes the mistakes, or somebody makes the mistakes. You have somebody saying that we've had problems with the system, yet I don't see other representatives getting called out for this. I guess that most other representatives have a professional person handling it for them. So I don't know what to make of it. And I'll continue to say this until I'm proven otherwise. What Representative Horner did, I do not believe he's doing anything nefarious. Somebody's going to have to show me something concrete for me to believe that. I have a problem with him accepting too much money from people. He's a representative. He should know what the limits are. He should return money when he gets money that's too much. Because there are plenty of people out there that are going to give you more money than they're allowed to give if you'll accept it. I have a problem with reporting not getting done quickly, especially when it's from one campaign to another. The voters have the right to know who's supporting you. I mean, people make a big deal about it, especially in this area. Anytime somebody runs, well, they're just getting money from outside the district. They're getting money from outside this area. Well, look at all this money that Mitchell Horner got from not constituents, but from other representatives. What do those representatives want? Do they want him to sign on to his bills that maybe he wouldn't otherwise agree to? I don't know. And again, I don't believe Horner is an unfair person. But those are the questions that the voters want, and those are why voters ask the questions about where's the money coming from. And here we had a primary. Would that have changed anybody's mind? I don't know. But that's why we have these strict reporting requirements. And that money wasn't even reported on there. So the voters can decide how important that is or not. And as I said, I honestly believe it was a mistake, but I also believe it's a mistake that never should have happened. That he should have had somebody else doing this, and he can't go out and demand perfection from other people when his own house isn't in order, especially on a campaign finance report. And that brings me to my last point. As I said earlier, I did not reach out to Representative Horner for a comment. But what he did post on Facebook today is, I want to address the ethics complaint that became public today. Today, by the way, because I have no idea when I'll actually get this out in the radio, is Wednesday, August 12th. I first learned about this complaint today through a local television station and Facebook post. So Representative Horner has gone on record as saying the first he heard about this complaint was on August 12th. I have no reason to not believe Representative Horner. However, I have somebody who I trust a lot who told me that he talked to Representative Horner over the weekend about this. And that Horner made comments, and I'm not going to get into it. I was told that the conversation was off the record, so I'm not going to disclose the conversation. I knew about it on Friday or Saturday. And you're never going to convince me that I know about a filed ethics complaint before the target of that ethics complaint. Now, maybe he didn't know the details. I've never been a representative. I can't win an election. For all I know, every single day, representatives get some quirky, stupid email from the Ethics Commission saying, don't forget to file this. We got training this week. Hey, come join us for our tea party when the session opens. I mean, maybe they get contacted every single day from the Ethics Commission, and therefore he got it, but he just decided not to open it. I don't know. He says he did not know about this till August 12th. When these get sent out, when these complaints get sent out, they get sent out in a traceable way. And since somebody I trust said that they know that Representative Horner knew it before Wednesday, and since Representative Horner, who I also trust, says that he didn't know about it until Wednesday, I did a FOIA request from the commission today to find out when did Horner know, because they'll have a record of it. They'll have a record of when it was sent. What this person claims is that he knew about it sometime between July 20th and July 25th. I have nothing to say that that's true, but that's what this person claimed. This person's batting 1,000 on everything else that they said. But unlike before when I said it doesn't matter who said it, it does matter who claims when it got delivered until actual proof is submitted. So we'll see what happens with the FOIA request as far as when notice was sent out to him. But let's talk about worst case scenario. Let's say he did know about this 2 weeks ago. Is it a big deal that he's saying he just found out about it today? I don't know. Probably not. But it's one of those things. Why lie about something so small and so inconsequential? Because if he did know about it 2 weeks ago, the simple answer is to say, look, I see that it's out today. I knew about this 2 weeks ago. I'm still looking into it. I've hired somebody to take care of it for me. It looks like I made some mistakes. I don't want any more mistakes made, so I want the professionals to handle it. My plan is to get it fixed and then tell everybody about it. Everybody would have accepted that. Well, not everybody. There's always idiots out there who don't accept certain comments. Comments from certain people. So, because there's no reason to lie about it, I tend to believe that he did learn about it today, August 12th. But if he was sent notice beforehand, the question I have is, how is our state representative not staying on top of things if he's getting a notice from a state agency in the middle or late July, and then he doesn't know about it till mid-August? Is that a failure of our state representative? Well, that's for the voters to decide. I do have a problem with it. It's not a big enough problem for me to say I'm not going to support Mitchell Horner. I still support him. I would like for him to be on top of things, especially if it's from a state agency. But I don't know. I don't know what's on his plate. For all I know, he's been on vacation for 2 weeks, or he's been on a study committee for 2 weeks in, the mountains of Montana, if they have mountains. But it's, to me, the over-report, the reporting of not reporting of too much money, not reporting of certain money, and not knowing about an investigation going against you when the Ethics Commission says they send it directly to your house. I think those are the major things. None of those things are going to cause me to say I'm not going to support Mitchell Horner. I don't know what it does, but just know this ethics complaint is not something that anybody, well, I guess this person probably thinks that it's a bigger deal, but I'm just starting to repeat myself, so this will be the last time I say it. I don't believe Representative Horner has done anything nefarious or on purpose. I do have a problem with him demanding perfection and him attacking the school board for their books when there's no reason to believe that their books were out of order, and yet he attacks them because he wants to do something about it. And if you're going to do that, you've put a target on your back. Doesn't matter how much I like you or other people like you, you have chosen to put a target on your back. And this is the result of it. Thank you, everybody, for listening today. Man, I thought I was going to have good music. There we go. But that'll be my closing music for today. I'll try to do the flock camera episode next week. As updates come from this, I certainly will share them, and we will look into it. I don't think anything else major is going to come from this. I expect within the next week or two, Representative Horner is going to file his corrected reports. All the money is going to be reflected on there. Maybe there'll be a reimbursement for haircuts and dry cleaning if that's required by law. But anyway, thanks for listening. Sorry this went a little bit longer than I anticipated. And y'all have a good weekend. Good night.